Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to take a look at the February Smart Art Box and see what we can make with the stuff that came inside. If you're not familiar with Smart Art Box, they are a monthly art subscription box company, which will send you a surprise box of art supplies every month. They also have some of the past boxes available for purchase if you don't want to take a risk. And you can see what you're going to get. Otherwise, you get something new every month to play with, usually around the first of the month. So every Smart Art box comes with a brochure that gives you a couple project ideas so that if you're not sure what you want to do with your supplies, you can. It'll also talk about the materials in case you need a little more information on them. So let's see what we have. First up, we have a Crafter's Choice 10 pouncer sponge stipplers from Royal and Langnickel. We have a Harmony ink pad by Spectrum Noir. This is water reactive dye. I've never used this before, but I think it's supposed to be like the Tim Holtz Distress ink pads and like the Prism, the Hunky Dory Prism ink pads. So those are really pretty colors, crushed velvet and parakeet. This will go nicely with some of the other reactive dye inks that I have. Those are kind of neat. A Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, which should be similar to a Wink of Stella pen, which is just like a, it says it's just crystal clear, so it would just be clear glitter inside the pen. There is a set of Graphics Aqua pens, which is a dual brush pen. I've had some of these in other Smart Art boxes in different color combinations, and this one is a primary and gray set. So it looks like we've got our three primary colors, red, yellow, blue. We've got a purpley gray color, a gray, and a black, it looks like. So there's that. This is going to be tough. I don't know if I'm just sticking to the products that are in the box what I'm going to make with this. Oh, there's a lollipop. One of the kids will, I'm sure, be after that. We've got some small brushes. These are synthetic hair brushes. 2, 6, and 3. These are the Princeton Art Brush Company Real Value line. I think I've had stuff from the Real Value line before, and they are all right. It looks like they have a plastic handle. Interesting, for acrylic, watercolor, and tempera. We have, oh, and I have had these before, and I like them so much I used them all up. These are the Hannibale watercolor postcards. These I love. I'm so happy to have another set of these because I love the tin so much. I used up my watercolor postcards, and then I just cut down some watercolor paper to fit in the tin because it was so handy. And I'm really glad to have another set of these. There's 30, I think, in a pack. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased to have more of these. So it's a good bunch of stuff. I don't know how I'm gonna do a project using just these supplies though, because I think any of these supplies would be really fun to play with and explore, but just using these supplies together, I am stumped, guys. Totally stumped. I'm gonna have to think on this, maybe look at the brochure and see if that sparks anything, and then when we come back, we're gonna start playing with these supplies. I started off by activating my sparkle pen, and if you've never used one of these before, it's super simple. You just unscrew the pen, remove the neon collar, and then screw the cap back on. Then you want to shake it up and then give it a squeeze over a palette or scrap paper, something that you don't mind getting a little messy, and then you'll squirt a little of that product out. And then I like to work that product back into the bristles of the brush so I don't waste it. And the reason I do this on a palette is so that I don't waste that extra sparkle. I can mix that in with some of my dyes later and use it up because it's so pretty. It's such a nice effect, and a little goes a long way. I decided to start off by making a background with these water reactive inks and the sponges that came in the kit. And I started just by kind of trying to pick up some ink and then swirl it onto my cardstock like I would with my foam tools, but it just wasn't picking up enough ink and it wasn't laying down enough ink, and I thought I was just wasting ink in the brush. So what I did was I grabbed my homemade bottle cap dauber tools, and basically how I made them was I bought a big bag of cosmetic foam sponges from the dollar store, folded them in half, and then hot glued them the ends into bottle caps. And I made probably about 30 of them, so I had plenty for all the different color inks that I use, and I've been using them for years, and they just get better with age. So I highly recommend making those. They're very inexpensive and they work so well. Another tool I like for applying ink, because you don't waste any ink, it just goes almost all on the paper, is a toothbrush style foundation brush, and you can find these made for ink blending in craft stores online, but they're so much cheaper if you buy them on Amazon, and I've even seen them at the Dollar Tree. So very affordable, and they work so well. So then I decided to take one of these brushes that came in the Smart Art Kit and flick some water onto my postcard background. Now these postcards are watercolor paper. I did want to mention that. This will work on cardstock with water reactive inks, but watercolor paper does work a little better like these postcards. I'm pressing it with a paper towel, and that's going to remove any excess ink wherever you put the water down. It almost looks like it's been bleached. Sometimes it will look kind of batik-y, but it's a really cool effect. And it immediately reminded me of an aquarium or underwater ocean type thing. And one of my daughter's friends had asked me if I would paint a jellyfish. So I thought, why not? That's a really cool idea. So thank you, Nathan, for that idea. And I thought that would be really cute to see them swimming around in the ocean or in an aquarium, and it would really work with this limited color scheme that I was using. So now what I want to do is make those fish a little bit lighter, so I'm lifting off some of that ink with a wet brush. So to do that, all you do is just brush over it with water. You can either lift it up with a damp brush, or you can blot it if you want it even brighter. You can also press your ink pads onto your palette or onto any plastic packaging that could have come in the Smart Art Kit to make yourself a little ink palette, so that way you can paint with any of the ink pad colors if you need to. You can see how nicely you can like lift right back to that watercolor paper. Cardstock will work, but after a while it may start to break down the paper, so you don't want to be too aggressive if you're working on cardstock. Just take it easy on cardstock. Basically, on our jellyfish, they kind of have they look whiter where their body's more opaque. So we have all those kind of the head of the jellyfish, and then all of like those thicker tendrils where they start. Those are a little bit brighter. I also wanted to make sure that they stood out from the background. So after lifting off that color, I went in and added some sparkle pen. I apologize for the glare, but that's just going to kind of dry shimmery in a kind of a pale color of the ink. And at this point, I recommend that you dry your project, because if you go over that with markers, which we're going to do in a minute, it can pill the paper. So you want to work with these water-based brush markers on dry paper. These markers have a fine tip on one end and a brush tip on the other end, so it's pretty handy if you want to sketch. You can use a fine end. If you want to fill in large areas or paint, you can use the brush end. Now I will warn you, or give you a piece of advice, if you want to blend more with these, then scribbling it onto a palette and then picking up with a brush is a better idea. You can also mix your colors that way. So this marker came with a red. This set came with a red, blue, yellow, and black, and then a couple grays. So if you need a color other than that, you can mix it on your palette, and it works pretty well. And it's also, your brush is going to be gentler on your paper than the firm marker tip. So you'll have less likely to have any pilling or anything on your papers. Now here I cheated a little bit. I was having a hard time making the jellyfish stand out from the background, so I did grab a little white gouache from my stash, and I went ahead and painted it over the lighter areas of the jellyfish. Now the neat thing with using gouache over ink is that the ink will leach up through and give you kind of like a muted version of that color, but the opacity of the gouache will still be there, so it'll help it stand out texturally, and it just kind of gives it a little bit more body. And that's actually gouache I think is French for body color or something, something like that. But it gives the paint a little bit more body, and it makes it just feel a little more substantial and stand out from the background a little bit more. I added some shadows around the jellyfish and their tendrils with that purpley gray marker that was in the kit. And then I went around with a black pen, and I used the fine tip and not the brush tip here to just kind of trace some details, because I was just kind of disappointed with how my jellyfish weren't standing out. Then I could go in and add final high highlights with the gouache and brighten them up a little bit more. At this point though, I thought it was looking a little overworked, so I was kind of wish I stopped a few steps earlier, but you know, it's a postcard. I'm going to push through. I'm going to play with it and see what I can make, because sometimes when you hit that hot mess stage and you have nothing left to lose, that's when you know the fun stuff happens. So I wanted a little more shadowing around the jellyfish to make them stand out more. So I'm taking this smaller sponge from the Smart Art box and I'm applying some of that purple ink around them, trying to just, you know, amplify that shadow a little bit. Now, you got to have the right tools for the job. Those sponges were frustrating, I have to be honest, and I went ahead and got some firmer peg foam tools, and they are these like pegs. They're from Doris. I think Ranger has some too, and this one is actually by Faber-Castell, but my smaller ones are by Doris. And they're a hard wooden peg that have a thin foam pad on the end, and it just lets you direct that ink, and it's just so handy, and they're not very expensive. So what I'm doing now here with the round tool that came in the kit, I'm dabbing on some bubbles, and then I'm going to let them sit and then blot them off. So I wanted a look of kind of like larger bubbles, because we had those kind of random ones in the background which were pretty, but I wanted something to be a little bit more shinier and brighter. So I'm going to let those dry before I do anything else to them, and add a few more white highlights with my gouache. Again, I kind of wish I stopped a couple versions before that. For some smaller bubbles, I thinned down my gouache with my largest brush that came in the kit, and I just flicked on some of that white paint, and that just kind of gave me those tiny effervescent movement bubbles that sometimes you see in the water. Now, because the white gouache was opaque, it covered up all the sparkle I put down originally, so I am going over those white gouache areas and adding back in the sparkle pen so that I would get that shiny effect. I'm also going on some of those bubbles that I painted and some of the bubbles that I spattered on with the white paint, and adding a little bit of shimmer to them as well. That will just hopefully finish up this project, and I think it's all right. I mean, I was a little disappointed with how kind of overworked it felt, but it's a postcard and I think it would be fun. Oh, because these are postcards, I highly recommend sealing these, waxing them. I would probably use Dorland's wax or rubbing some canning wax on it or something to keep them protected as they go through the mail. Now, this one was a hot mess, and I believe on showing you the bad stuff as well as the good. What I wish I had done here, instead of coloring directly on this postcard, I wish I scribbled it on my palette and picked it up with a brush. What I was hoping for here, that did not happen, was I was hoping that I would add some water to what I had drew on the postcard, and I could blend those out and make kind of a galaxy using some of the other colors. But I wanted to, and I'm trying to do this here with a sponge blender, but it's just not working. The markers are so strong, they just kind of seep into the paper and they grab the paper too well, and I can't get it to blend out. But my thought was that I would do kind of like a rainbow galaxy, and it would be really fantastic looking, but I just couldn't work with that ink directly on the paper like that. And after struggling with it for a while, I decided just to kind of can the idea. But if you started off, if you had enough ink pad colors and you did it all with your blending brushes or blending sponges, it would look fantastic. I just didn't have the right products for the look I was going after. And yeah, well, you'll see how it progresses. It's not good. But, you know, you experiment. That's what's so great about these Smart Art boxes, is just taking some materials for a spin. It forces you to use them in new ways, because, like, I would never put these particular products together even though I had similar things like this in my stash. It just kind of, I don't know, it forces me anyway to think outside the box and to try different things. It looks like there's like a fiery serpent flying through the sky now that I'm looking back at the footage. Oh my gosh, it's kind of crazy looking. And I just wasn't getting the color from the ink pads that I wanted, because the markers were so strong and they were fighting me. So I started rubbing the ink pad directly onto the project, and oh boy, it just was it was tough. It was tough. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to flick it with some water. Maybe that will help things blend and it won't look so jarring when I look back at it. So that's what I did. And I probably should have waited longer to blot it off, but I was just frustrated and I just wanted to push through. And you know what? No, I threw it away. I threw it away right then. There was no saving it. I was done with that. So I thought I would do something else here, something that's a little bit more of a traditional technique that you do with these water reactive inks. And I just did kind of an ombre ink application on this postcard. So I started in on one end and did the blue, and then I went in from the other end and did purple and let them kind of meet in the middle. Then I took a stencil that came in a previous Smart Art box and laid it over my project, and I gently misted it with water. And this is just you know, one of those little fine misters you can get in the travel section of any dollar store or department store. So I spritzed it and then gently lifted off my stencil. And then what you want to do is blot it. And I just laid a paper towel down, and the paper towel actually imparted some texture onto the project. So whether you like that or not, if you don't like that, you could use like a cotton t-shirt, an old t-shirt, or you could scrunch it up and just kind of blot, 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 and then you wouldn't be getting that dominant texture. But I thought it looked kind of cool, and it reminded me of like batik fabric. I decided that I wanted it a little bit lighter though, so I replaced my stencil, respritzed it, and blotted it in the way I just described, and you can see it takes off a lot more color that way. I thought this was really neat, and this would be really fun for a quick little postcard to send somebody. So I put the stencil back down. I wanted a little bit more definition, so I used some of the blues, the blue marker that came in the kit, just to trace some of the shapes and give my design a little bit more structure. I didn't want to, make it too tracey. I just wanted to have a little bit of, just a little bit of definition there. And then just for fun, I went in with my sparkle pen and I just accented some of the shapes just to give it a little bit of glisten. Now I think with something like this where we blotted off most of the ink, I think sending that through the mail would be fine. But if you were going to do like a really inky background where you've laid down and left a lot of the ink, you definitely would want to seal it. And one of my favorite ways to do this is after it's all dry, rub it with a candle, like a clear candle or a piece of canning wax, and then heat it with a heat tool so it can melt the wax, and that's going to protect it really well and keep it from losing ink on its travels to your friend's house if you're mailing it through the mail. So there are my 2 successful postcards. They were fun to make. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you got the Smart Art box, I hope you have fun with it. If you get this box, I recommend that you mix it with other supplies you have on hand for greater versatility. Here's a look at what we got in our box this month. It was a lot of fun, and if you'd like to receive these supplies or a surprise box of supplies every month, visit smartartbox.com. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.